Hi, Ben. Thanks so much for coming. I'm asking a question on my brother's behalf, so this is just directly from him. Follow him, Jake Stamen, on Twitter. You've said many times that we should reduce welfare spending, but lately my brother feels like our country is too deep for that to be realistic on a political level. Throwing people off their government benefits would make Republicans look evil, especially if no replacement for welfare is offered. In this opinion, the ideal welfare system would look something like Milton Friedman's negative income tax, with work requirements. When you're president, would you would you ever consider supporting a proposal like that? And if not, how would you go about successfully passing cuts to welfare programs, especially when considering how popular they are with voters?
Well, I do think that one of the best political moves that I've seen in my lifetime was welfare reform, which attached welfare to work requirements. There's a lot of talk about catastrophic impact on people, and that simply wasn't the case. People started to work more. It did increase employment rates. You don't want to pay people not to work. Now, the UBI argument that I usually hear is not the we are dependent on this and what are we going to do. Transitioning people off welfare, honestly, I think that looks more like the social fabric picking up the slack, people making a plan with the money that they're being given. You know, that it's not just we sign you a check, but what are you going to use the money for? Are you going to use the money to actually get yourself out of debt, or are you going to go blow that money on something else? I'm not averse to having strings attached to welfare programs, particularly from the local level, where you know the people who are signing you the checks. Usually the argument is the Elon Musk or Andrew Yang argument. By the way, I did an interview with Andrew Yang. It's on our Sunday special this Sunday. Nearly the entire interview, or at least a huge portion of it, is about this exact issue, UBI. So the Milton Friedman proposal, first of all, is that UBI would actually replace all of the welfare system, right? That there wouldn't be 750 welfare systems, that instead there would just be this one check, and the check would be dependent on your income, and you'd get a negative income tax, you would get a certain check in the mail, and that's it. I'm not sure that fulfills two basic needs that we are seeing in society right now. Need number one is the need for a job. If you're unemployed, there are a lot of people on disability right now. People are paying their bills. It is not making them less likely to commit suicide or be on opioids, or it's not, they're not engaging in all the things that Democrats keep saying they're going to engage in. They're not going out and creating great art. They're not going out there and picking up a new hobby or volunteering with their time. For the most part, they're doing what they were doing before, which is not working and being upset, right? Jobs do provide purpose. So I'm not sure that signing a check fills that gap. I think only social fabric and finding purposeful things to do fills that gap. As far as the argument that it is going to be of economic benefit to sign massive checks on future debt, I'm not sure how that is the case. That's why the argument usually for UBI is all the jobs are going away anyway, there's nothing you can do about it. Now what do? You have a vast underclass of people who don't have jobs and they're going to come kill you. Okay, well, if that's the given, then I don't have much of a choice, do I? I don't happen to think that's the way economics historically has worked. Historically, technological advancements do come along with new jobs. The fact is that technology is used by workers in different ways, right? I mean, everybody works with a computer now. They didn't work for, would there be more jobs if everybody were writing by pen and using an abacus? Maybe. Would we all be better off? No. So when it comes to UBI or any of these other proposals, I think the question is, how closely tailored is it to the purpose that it says it's closely to? Is it an attempt to avoid poverty, or is it an attempt to provide meaning? If it's to provide meaning, the answer is no. If it's to avoid poverty, then the answer is a qualified maybe, but that should be a last resort. And it seems to me government welfare is being used as a first resort by people rather than as a last resort in the absence of a social fabric. As far as convincing people, listen, we have a gap in the mind. The gap is we want less spending, and then as soon as we say what we want to cut, everybody goes, no, you can't touch that. True of Social Security, true of Medicare. These represent 66% of the federal budget. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, that's 66% of the federal budget. Will anybody ever have the balls to actually say we need to restructure this stuff? No, because then you lose elections, which is why I'm not running.